When I got to know David Gibson personally, he was already an icon. He was already somebody who had tried more cases than I'll ever try in my lifetime when I knew him. And he'd been there and done that. So as a young puppy attorney, when I walk in and say, "Hello, Mr. Gibson," and I see these three very intimidating board certification plaques on his wall, and triple board certified, you think, oh my God, you know, he's going to just crush me with these things. Well, he says, "Call me Dave." Well, not that easy. Unless you've walked the walk, you can't really be on an equal footing with somebody. But David, he was so pleasant. Now, when you talk about Dave, I don't want you to think that David Gibson was somebody that would just, in any situation, put his arm around you and start singing Kumbaya and make everything right. He wouldn't. You got to understand, David was very gentle at times, but only because he knew his capacity in trial, and he knew what he could do. And if you ever saw David in trial, he could be as tenacious as any human being in this world. If you've ever seen him in trial with the judge against him, and the ad litem against him, and the mental health expert against him, and most of the witnesses against him, David was like a homing torpedo. He would have his mission, he would have his issues, and there weren't many. Fundamentally, he would only try 2 or 3 things in any one case, and all the details would be around that, but he would never cease to go to those 1, 2, or 3 major issues, and more times than not, he would win his case. The lessons I've learned from David Gibson: 1, be yourself. That is, don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to be David Gibson. Don't try to be Racehorse Haynes. Don't try to be Dennis Kelly. Be yourself, because you've got your own strengths and weaknesses. Know what they are, and I always admired that about David. He was well within his own framework of activity. 2, don't necessarily worry about the money. Oh, what does that mean? Well, if you do the right thing, it'll work out. The money's not the thing, it's the profession. Do the right thing, you'll get paid for it, and eventually you'll more than get paid for it. You'll even make some money and be able to pay off some things. But don't just worry about a paycheck. Worry about the clients and worry about the case. 3, don't get caught up in details. Family law, which I dealt with him on, I never dealt with him on civil cases or criminal cases, but custody cases and family cases are basically fundamental cases. There's a lot of hoopla going on around it, but there's only 1, 2, or 3 things that really make the difference. Stay on track with those things and you'll be okay. This is relatively new, this David Gibson Award, only 10 years, I guess. I've been honored to be a recipient of the David Gibson Award. At first, I was so excited about it because it was an honor to have the people that are in the streets look and see who best exemplifies professionalism and excellence. And of course, there's a big ego and your chest sticks out and you think, oh my God, I'm really cool. Later on, it takes, is a responsibility associated with it. One that I hope in part I've discharged properly. Other times, I know I haven't. And I'll go back to the office sometimes and I'll look at that damn award and say, Dave would not be proud of me today. So it's a reference point, not just for other people, but for the people that have got it. It's not like once you've got it, you're it, because you still have to keep maintaining yourself, because that's the spirit of what David did. I hope that this award can not just be a piece of paper or a board or something that says, hey, this is, it needs to be, I think, a living, breathing kind of spirit. You're hearing a lot of good things, I guess, maybe some bad things, but I mean, if you really want to know David Gibson, I suspect there's as many bad things as good things with David. But we're here talking about the very best thing about David in terms of his profession, and that's the way that he practiced. And if that's what we think about in terms of David, and if we can at least aspire to that, but by the way, I think David might have had some times that he wasn't too proud of either. But he wasn't very hard on himself most of the time. Make mistakes, get on with it, and do something better the next time. And I think that's what we have to do. I think we have to be the best we can, work within ourselves, be professionals, do the thing. Remember, we took the oath to the bar and to the courts first before we ever got any clients. So let's do that. I think David would be very happy if we could just be the very best we can, and don't worry about the money. Be a pro, the money will come in the future.